Welcome to Plant Medicine Transmissions with Javier Regueiro. Today, I would like to continue this theme of perfection, and particularly with the awareness, sharing the awareness, the viewpoint that there are no accidents and there are no mistakes. It is quite obvious to me that all of us at this point in time are here not by accident, and there are no mistakes, meaning that we have, all of us, chosen to be here at this time, experiencing whatever it is that we are experiencing from the place where we are, and learning the lessons that are important for us to learn and remember. I believe that we all carry a deep, deep intelligence and wisdom, and that wisdom is taking us to invite into our lives all experiences that serve us, that are important for us in order to continue our journey of awakening. Now, the lessons that we come here to learn are not always pleasant. On the contrary, it is challenging to embrace moment by moment, day by day, the life that we have chosen from a spirit level before we even incarnate. Of course, this is just my viewpoint, and feel free to dismiss it if it doesn't resonate with you. But we can entertain the possibility that we are not here by mistake, that this intelligence within us is guiding us moment by moment, and to trust that intelligence, to trust our own intelligence. Oftentimes we fall back into same old patterns. We invite very similar situations over and over, and we resent ourselves for falling back into what we easily call mistakes. I have learned through my own experience that those so-called mistakes are not mistakes, but they are all learning experiences. And we will keep inviting those experiences, those circumstances, over and over again until we learn the lessons, the beautiful lessons, the important and seemingly necessary lessons for our growth, until we learn them. When we learn those beautiful lessons, then there is no need to invite consciously or unconsciously those circumstances again. Like Maya Angelou wrote in a very beautiful poem, history, when faced with courage, may not be repeated again. So what does that mean in terms of engaging with plant medicines? It means that there are no mistakes, and that whenever we find ourselves complaining because we are not receiving and experiencing what we had hoped to experience, we are still somehow resisting the experience at hand, and taking responsibility for our experience means learning about it, learning from those supposed mistakes. So there are no wrong choices. Everything that we invite into our lives is for a very important reason, particularly the uncomfortable ones, because we invite those experiences for very important reasons. So, for instance, there is no such thing as a bad plant medicine person. Most importantly, because we choose that person for the continuation of our journey. And our journey is a mysterious one, as I have repeated over and over again. And we are not always conscious, quite the opposite. We are not conscious of the lessons that we need to learn at any point or another as part of our journey. Our own personal spiritual curriculum is not for our ego minds to choose and pick, but they are part of a much greater personal plan. So to complain, to criticize a plant medicine person or other people present in a ceremony or retreat, we are missing the point. The point being that this is not about them, but it is about us and about our journey, our own emotions, our own reactions, and the people that we choose to surround ourselves with and the experiences that we invite into our lives are about us. A fair bit of people who come to me for plant medicine work begin sharing about themselves by saying how they deeply believe that they experience this earthly life as a mistake, that they're here on this planet, in this body by mistake, that they don't belong here and they can't wait to go back home, whatever it is that they believe their true home is. I listen, and to these people, I always tell pretty much the same story, which is life on this planet and possibly elsewhere is the experience of ordering a pepperoni pizza before we even incarnate. And once we get here, we start complaining and going like, well, a pepperoni pizza? Who ordered this? I am a vegetarian. There is a mistake. But the reality is that there are no mistakes. And that pizza, we may start eating the crust, putting the pepperoni aside, and we start nibbling a little bit around it. And the reality is that that pizza isn't going anywhere. We may put it in the fridge, we may try to forget about it, but at least in my opinion, there is no moving on to dessert until we fully finish that pizza, until we fully fulfill that contract between us and ourselves to experience that which is right in front of us. And a beautiful thing happens is that when we finally embrace those experiences and learn from them, we stop inviting those situations again. It's no longer necessary for us to repeat those same mistakes, so to speak, and our life continues with those lessons integrated, and we can move on to our next lessons, which may not be any easier, but that's just the way it is. So there is no mistake. There is no mistake when, For instance, we sign up for a ceremony and the medicine is bad or mediocre at best, when there is no support, when we feel cheated, when we feel disappointed, that is always a sign that the experience, our reaction to it, needs our attention. If we have whatever experience, it is because we invited it, we created it as part of our journey, our healing journey, and our journey of awakening. A few months ago, I was talking to my dear friend Cameron and complaining about something, about the way that some people engage in their spiritual path. And he said very lovingly, he said to me, Javier, we are all of us on a journey of awakening. So, as part of that journey, it is not up to us to decide, meaning not up to our ego minds to decide what that journey is going to look like. And this is more relevant than ever right now in the present situation that is very, very challenging to most of us. And I have remembered Cameron's words, and I have been reframing the present situation in terms of no, we're not experiencing a lockdown, financial difficulties, emotional difficulties. We are simply waking up. Each one of us is reacting to this pandemic in very different ways. It is awakening in each one of us old, unresolved issues. For many is stories about scarcity. For some are stories about abuse, about authority. Each one of us is experiencing the present moment in unique ways, and it's not about anything external to us, because clearly our own experience is our own and nobody else's. Now we can resent, say, for instance, the authorities or any kind of external circumstances. But that is just a way to express our own resistance to the lessons being presented to us at the present moment and at all moments. So, for instance, I have had my own moments of resistance, of upset, of criticizing the authorities, the way that they are dealing with the situation, about certain abuse on the part of the police. And it is only when I took responsibility for my own reaction and my own criticism and judgment that I was able to learn from myself, from my own reactions and judgments, and integrate those judgments. There is something very beautiful about this process of beginning to entertain the possibility that there are no mistakes and no accidents. And that is that we can see the perfection of our journey. So, my invitation to all of you is to take responsibility for your own reactions and your own judgments and your own resistance, and explore them. Embracing them is the way to begin integrating them. despite the unpleasantness of certain situations, we do not invite those situations for nothing. It is important to be aware that whatever in our experience we fail to embrace fully, we are bound to invite into our lives very similar situations over and over again. And it's not because we're stupid, and it's not because we are cursed. It's because we are fulfilling as best as we can this contract with ourselves of further awakening. The road may be fraught with challenges, but I can tell you from my own experience that it's all worth it. The more we embrace our own experience, the closer we get to that place that we are looking for. That place is inside of us, and it's a beautiful place. It's a remembering of our true nature and of the beauty and the perfection of who we are, of existence, of everybody else. This is what we are looking for, and you can trust my word that it's all worth it. The price of admission to our own personal heaven, which is right here and right now available to all of us, is totally worth it. When we finally get to that place, we feel only gratitude for all the challenges that finally took us to this place of embracing our own divinity. To experience confusion, to experience discouragement is very normal, is part of our journey. And in those moments, it's important to offer ourselves our full support and encouragement as best as we can, being aware that there are difficulties, but also remembering that it is really all worth it. And so we can let go of our discouragement, we can look at our own confusion and move on. Move on with trust in ourselves and trust in the whole universe to support us immensely. I just did a ceremony on June 20th to celebrate the winter solstice, which is a very important celebration here in Peru, and particularly in the area of Cusco. But because of the present situation, all those celebrations were canceled, and it seemed important for me to celebrate it in my own way, in my own house. I celebrated it with a ceremony during which the main reason was to make a despacho, which is an offering to the earth and to the mountains. And in that offering my prayers, and at the same time offering my total gratitude for the support that I have been receiving from this land in the last few months. I have asked repeatedly over these months for that support and opened myself to receiving that support, which has been amazing, and it has been really important because I have been on my own emotional and mental roller coaster, like most of us, and at the same time offering my gratitude to all my relations, the people around me here and all over the world has been instrumental has been amazing. And in that, I have discovered that one of the gifts for me personally in this whole situation has been about opening myself to receiving that support which I needed, and seeing that that support is indeed available if I would only open my mouth and ask for it. So I could finally see the perfection of this experience in that it is teaching me to receive, to ask for what I need, and also it is teaching me to look beyond my nose and be more aware also of the needs of others, and in that rejoin a little bit more truthfully the greater family, the greater human family that I am indeed part of. I hope that these words are of support in your journey at this time and in the future, and offer you all my blessings and love. And last but not least, I wish to thank once again those people that have made the donations that are making these podcasts possible. Thank you very, very much.